All right, we are live, and let's call this episode 43 of the Athletic Philosopher podcast. I am your humble host, Jordan Goldstein, former university professor in sport history, philosophy, sociology, psychology. Still got the PhD, but they don't let me teach at the academy anymore. Thank goodness for them, I guess. Thank goodness for me, even more so. Now we are up to our hearts in fitness and life coaching intertwined with the people I work with one-on-one. I also serve as the tribal prof, assistant coach on tribal training, the world's greatest online endurance training team where we max out in body, mind, and spirit in ways, hey, only the tribal professor knows how to bring out of us in terms of the training and the competing. And today's a little bit of a different episode, but not unrelated to the entire endeavor of this podcast, which is to get inside my brain, have intriguing conversations with interesting and thoughtful people about the role of athletics in living the good life. But realistically, I think one of the common threads that I have been talking about in the first, 42 episodes of this bad boy all connects to the idea of like the hero's journey, the idea of living your greatest potential, and on resolving yourself to find courage to do the difficult yet necessary things in life. And for the second time in 43 episodes, I'm going to base an entire episode around a question that I received in my direct messages. And I received this message from an old friend from the academy. So this is a friend who I met, oh my gosh, like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, when I was fighting free speech wars as a professor in the university system up in Canada. And I have a lot of contacts still from the free speech wars. A lot of them doubled up as fighting against the COVID insanity, the lockdowns, and the disastrous, inhumane vaccine mandates. And I was simply just talking with this friend about, catching up. How's your family? How's the move to Chicago been? And then he hit me with this question, which I will read verbatim, and then we'll get into the topic for today. I'll admit I'm curious, Jordan. How have you found going into business for yourself? What's the good, the bad, and the ugly? Now, for a lot of people inside of the academy, the idea of becoming like an online entrepreneur is not a realistic thing that we ever think about. Like when you dedicate your life to getting a PhD, there's really one place where you envision yourself being, and that is in the university system somewhere, most likely as a tenured professor, but not always. And I'm somebody that, has done a solid enough job, I think, of forging my way in the online business world, not because I've made a tremendous amount of money, but because I still do online business coming into my 4th or 5th year now as an entrepreneur. I no longer lose money, and I'm able to craft the life that I want to live because I'm able to charge people money on the internet for my services. So while I am certainly not an expert on how to do business, I can glean lessons from my own experience. And hey, because this is a podcast about sports and sports philosophy, there's going to be some connections between the training and the necessary mindset and heart stance that you require to be successful as an entrepreneur in any endeavor. All right, so this episode is all about my business journey, and I just find this a little bit hilarious, to tell you the truth, because in one sense, I think I'm anti-business. Like, I love business. I love commerce. I'm laissez-faire, free market guy. Like, You're going to be hard to find someone who loves commercial exchange theoretically and philosophically more than I do. But in terms of my own comfort level with business, it's not something that I am particularly, we'll say, fond of, adroit at, or adept in. But yet I've managed to find my way. And so the idea of having a talk about my business life on a philosophy podcast, because I'm able to have a philosophy podcast because I entered business, is an irony that is not lost on me. And I want to give a quick shout out to my business coach, who I've had for, oh my gosh, coming up 5 years now, Zach Hummel. And he has given me some incredible wisdom and has helped me, shape the life that I want through online entrepreneurship. Now, there's lots of great people out there who can help you. This is the guy for me. And I'm going to share just one quick little story that we had, I think, in the second business call that we ever had. And then I'll get into kind of like the narrative of this story. And I want you to remember this sage piece of advice, because I really think that this, more than anything, has led to my success as an entrepreneur. And again, success is kind of like in quotation marks. But before I even share that, again, shout out to Zach. He kind of wants me to correct my language, and he's correct. When I say I'm no good at business, he says, that's just not true. You are good at business. You just do it in a way that's different and is aimed at different things than most people who go into business. And I say, well, I guess that's true. What's the ultimate marker of success for business? Like, are you open or are you closed? Do you have to shut it up? Do you have to do things that you don't want? Like what's the ultimate marker of success? And for me, it's like not having to get a job. It's pretty simple. It's not having to have a resume. It's not having to apply for a job. It's not having to work for anybody else. It's being able to dictate my schedule. It's the ability to make effectively what I was making as a beat down part-time adjunct faculty professor after I got booted from being a tenured prof or being on a tenure track position and a full salaried professor. But also to utilize the expertise, the information, and the wisdom, and sort of the guiding spirit that, led me to want to become a professor in the first place. And that piece of advice. So, one, you're not bad at business. You just do it very differently from other people. And that tends to look like you're not good, but it's just different. And why have I been able to do things differently? Well, here is a story that Zach told me that really made me a believer that I could do this, even when I was still legitimately teaching as a professor and have no idea what I'm going to do as an entrepreneur, other than I know a lot about sport history. Oh, and I can write and talk. Those are my skills, or at least that's what I thought coming into it. Okay, and he tells me this story about a guy he's coaching. This is like 2020, 2021, and online coaching. It's like boom, blowing up. Like we haven't had the recession from the pandemic. Money is flowing. People are health conscious, and online coaching is booming. He's got a guy who starts up an online coaching business. It's sort of like fitness, men's group related, and this guy is immediately crushing. A lot of people in this space come from the corporate world. It's like business trained, and then they're just not happy in a 9-to-5 in a corporate environment, working for the boss and just sort of playing those games with everybody. And so they come into entrepreneurship with business skills, with business acumen, and with an understanding of how to play the game. And this one guy immediately starts striking it. We're talking like $20,000 months, $30,000 months. He's selling at retreats. He's got a group. He's got one-on-one clients. Like, it's going well. But, First couple months of success may be a little unrealistic in terms of how that's going to progress out. And entrepreneurship is not a linear, it's not a linear experience. And so he ends up like with a month that doesn't look so good. And then 1 month turns into 2 months. They don't look as good as those initial months. And it's not as if the guy's now in the red, but he's just not like crushing it in the black like he was. And 2 months of not so great results, he quit. He was out of the game. And Zach told me this, and I thought, man, if I ever have 1 month of my life where I can make $20,000 in 1 month from this, like, I'll keep going forever. Because I'll know that it's possible. And he said, that's what you need. That's what you need more than anything to survive and to be a good entrepreneur. The ability not to quit when things get hard. The ability to manage your emotions and stay at a consistent level, no matter if you're up or if you're down, because entrepreneurship is a wave. It's a roller coaster. It's an up and down experience. And no matter how successful you are or how early you are in the game, this is the thing that you've got to fight against the most. Foreshadow to how athletics is going to play into this mindset. But that effectively, with this piece of knowledge that, hey, if you just keep going, you're going to make it. That was a tremendous boon for me, because initially I had no idea what I was going to do or how I was going to make it. And I've been sort of off script here for a little bit, and now let's go on script. Okay, so I got 4 notes here, and I want to tell this as a narrative. I want to tell this as a story. I just gave away the biggest piece of advice. I'll circle back to it at the end. But I already shared the gold with you guys. That's bad. Okay, so here we go. First, why online biz? Second, the importance of the open stance. It's kind of related to what I just mentioned. This idea of just being open. What I do differently, and then my advice to anyone looking to get into the game. Now, I'm not going to target this directly to my fellow academics, although one of my very first business ideas was exactly doing this, which was how to create your own entrepreneurship coaching-based system as an academic, moving from the university into entrepreneurship. And still not a bad idea. I needed a little bit more business success if I'm going to push that one out to other people, but it's possible. Okay, first off, why online biz? I kind of mentioned it a little bit off the top there. I was a professor. I was a full salaried professor, and I was just about to get my tenure track position when I was called in unceremoniously March 14th, 2020, 2 days before my university, Wilfrid Laurier University, shut down for 2 years because of the COVID pandemic. My department chair, Dr. Robinson Wilson, pulls me in and says, you know that everybody on the faculty loves having you here. The students, they love you as a first year and a second year prof. And we see the great work you do when they eventually get into our classes. And we've had a great time working with you. But the Faculty of Science does not agree, and you've been terminated. But if you want, you can come back and you can teach adjunct. So you get the same courses for 40% of the pay and 0 benefits. Oh, and you're not salaried either. Now, go teach a class. This was 10 minutes before I had to go teach a Canadian sport history class, 3rd year class. That was a tough one. March 14th, 2020. And the writing is kind of already on the wall for me because, as I mentioned earlier, the person who messaged me this topic was one of my friends from the free speech wars that I fought in from 2017 to 2018 at Wilfrid Laurier University, all revolved around the Lindsay Shepherd affair with Jordan Peterson and a whole bunch of silliness that ensued. It was me and 2 other tenured professors helping Lindsay start a free speech club, and being a general pain in the administration side who didn't really want things like open debate and free speech. They wanted censorship, and they wanted us not to talk about things in an academic or balanced fashion. We just all had to sit down and shut up and fall in line like all the other ideologues at the academy. So it's likely my activity at this time put me on a blacklist, and I'll never know for certain. But it's very likely that I was never going to get a full professor job ever again after, acting on principle and not just shutting up so that I could secure the bag and then hate myself for selling myself out later in life. Money's not everything in this world, guys. It's definitely not everything in this world. So then March 14th, I'm like, oh gosh, like this is hard. Like, this is hard. And I was also pretty sure like the pandemic was about to destroy everybody's lives because all the universities in the States had been shutting down for weeks. And I was just waiting for ours to shut down too. And then it happened. And here I am, like 2020, 34. Yeah, but turned 34. I've been working on my PhD all throughout my 20s. So it's like I haven't been making money as a PhD student, obviously. I finally get a couple years of a full salary from a tenured professor. I was 1 year away from getting on the Sunshine List, which if anybody's in Ontario, you'll know what that means. If you're not in Ontario, that's a little nugget for you. Go find out what that means, the Sunshine List in Ontario. And then I got canned because I was likely on a blacklist. Oh, also, they gave my job away to a race-based hire. So I wasn't the right skin color. They gave it to, you had to be either Indigenous or black. I'm not either of those. Oops, sorry. Can't teach, I guess. Who cares if the students like you and the faculty thinks you're a great fit? Who cares if you have a good publishing record? None of that matters. What's the skin tone? What's the skin tone? That's the most important factor when it comes to deciding who should teach a university course. Good riddance to those institutions. Burn them to the ground, salt the earth so nothing can grow there for another 1,000 years. Go full Roman Empire on these places. Unbelievable. Anyways, why online biz? Okay, so right around this time, I had plugged myself into a brand new community on social media. I had been very active on social media throughout the free speech wars. That's how I gained a little bit of a following and also had a lot of fun clowning woke professors and censors and the real fascists and authoritarians. Oh, what a time. What a time that was. But I had just recently been turned on to a brand new community. It was like way back, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? The money Twitter community. People who created these Twitter accounts solely as businesses to be able to make money. And a lot of it was kind of around marketing, email marketing, brand creation, fitness. But there was this interesting community, and I got hooked up to this with a guy I met in Canada who was an email marketer who I met during the free speech wars. So it all kind of works together, right? So some of the people that I saw him following, I started following, and then all of a sudden I was sucked into this weird ecosystem where these people were making, or what it seemed like they're making $100,000 a year just doing online coaching. And I thought, I don't need to make $100,000 a year, but hey, online business, this could be an alternative for me. One of the reasons I became a professor was it's the most non-job job you can get, right? I also really like reading and teaching, so it's a great place for me. But there's no structure really to a prof job. You basically show up when they tell you got to teach, and when you got to go to a staff meeting, and then otherwise, like, you get to do whatever you want. So I wanted freedom, especially because I got a young kid, and we were just about to, grow our family with our second child, and being able to like spend a day with them if I want to, or only work in the morning, or only work at the night, or be able to go to a doctor's appointment, right? Or my kid was coming up, like my oldest daughter was coming up to school, so doing pickups or drop-offs, or heaven forbid, just deciding to take her out of kindergarten for a day to go and have fun, like, and go explore, do an adventure. Also, my wife works a pretty intensive job. She travels. So one of us kind of needs to be in a position to be able to, at an emergency notice, like go out and do something for the kids if necessary. And this is when we were living in rural Ontario. So, we live in a rural little village. We don't have immediate family support or anything like that. So flexibility of time and schedule has always been one of the most important things to me, which is one of the reasons I chose to become a professor in the first place. There's nothing like getting up in the summer, reading for 3 hours, and then going to play golf and having that be, boom, your day. Oh, and I was reading about golf and golf courses and all these things, right? This was still before I had the kid, but being a prof it's like a dream job because it's not a real job. It's not a real job. You get paid like it's a real job. You don't have job security like a real job. You get better jobs. Like you can't be fired once you get tenure. You don't even have to be good. You just show up and you basically just print money. It's amazing. And you get your summers off and you do research, which is basically you just reading about what you like and then going to visit your friends in some cool new spot where you're going to do a conference. Like, it's a bit of a joke, guys. It's a bit of a joke. So I wanted flexibility, but most importantly, I didn't just want to throw away everything that I just worked so hard to achieve. Like I got my PhD before I was 30. I have a sole authored manuscript. It's back here somewhere, I think. Maybe it's upstairs. It does exist. Anyways, like I got a book. I wrote my own book, my own academic book through the University of Toronto Press, the most prestigious press in all of Canada. Like before I was 34. What are you going to do? Oh, get fired because you're not the right skin color. But I'd done all this great work and I loved the teaching and I loved the information that I was able to learn, and I was just starting to figure out how to really like utilize the historical information with some of the philosophy stuff and sociology stuff that I'd been teaching now for 4 or 5 years. And I was really starting to find my voice, and there's no chance I was going to throw that stuff away. There's no chance that I was going to throw away all this information, wisdom, and guidance that I'd seen working real wonders in people's lives. And that was through the students. That was through my office hours. This is kind of what convinced me I could be a great coach, was the office hours that I used to have with my students, where I had my random assortment of books. I'm the weird prof, okay, in the back, in the corner, with the dusty bookshelves and the papers everywhere, who wears the weird suits. And then you come in to my office and you ask me for advice on your essay and you walk out an hour later with like this life wisdom from this incredible just talk that we just spun out together. That was me. I was that guy. And I had so many of these, 45 or hour-long conversations with students that went beyond just academic advice, but really into like guidance and mentorship and life advice. And then I was merging that with the athletic wisdom, because a lot of these students are former athletes. Like I'm teaching in the kinesiology department. I'm a philosophy prof. All the students want to be PTs and doctors and athletic therapists, right? They don't care about philosophy, but so many of them would leave my class like, I'm so grateful you were my prof. I'm so happy that you made us do this work. I'm so appreciative of the way in which you changed our perspectives and made us think differently or more openly or critically, not like thinking critically like the critical theorists want you to think, which is just in lockstep with them, but actually being able to weigh information and come to an assessment on your own through a synthesis, like thinking. Anyways, right. So my experience as a prof kind of guided me into the type of online biz that I was seeing in front of me, where it's like, I can help people, I can listen, I can guide, and I'm really seeing how the physical is this sort of linchpin to it. Like when you're training, when you're healthy in body, your mind and your spirit can follow. And this was certainly my experience with the free speech stuff. And then, I get terminated March 14th, 2020. I effectively go into online biz 3 months later, right? And I just, it's also wild to me how it all swirls together. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I needed to help people with the information that I had. And I saw flexibility. I saw other people doing it. And I just thought, hey, why not me? Why can't I give it a shot? Once the university shut down and we went remote for 2 years, I didn't have such a problem accepting those part-time contracts to do the same thing for 40 cents on the dollar. One, because I wasn't going to have to drive to commute. Two, I wasn't going to have to do anything new. These were courses I'd already taught, so I already had the syllabuses. I just basically had to show up on a Zoom call and mark papers. So I wasn't doing the full work. And I figured with the time I was saving on commuting and not caring about things like academic publishing or even being a professor anymore, I would use that spare time to build up a side hustle, build up an online biz. And then at some point, just sort of like, see you later, university, boop, here we are online. So that was my plan, was to keep working online until I could figure out a way to not be at the university. Okay. First thing that happened was I got on a call with Mark Baker, Guru Anaerobic on Twitter, my hero. And he has this tag about becoming unemployable. And I just mentioned that I, became a prof because it's the most non-job job in the world. Becoming unemployable seemed good. So I really appreciated his gang fit philosophy, which is this blend of like a rebel streak, physical fitness, independence, and I would just say general like life awareness. Like it's very intriguing stuff. So I hopped on a call with him, and he kind of pushed and inspired me to make my first foray into online entrepreneurship, which was like writing a book. I didn't know what to do. I'm an academic. I got all this knowledge. I have this theory, right, that the athlete is a type of mythological archetype similar to the other known archetypes in mythology, but that one that is particularly suited to Western civilization and the flourishing of individualism. And I had this whole idea about writing a book series that went all the way from the beginnings of, man, the hunter-gatherer, the persistence hunt, all the way up until the 20th century. And I was going to call this the Athletic Hero, which I wrote the first copy. The first, just trying to think. I'm getting a bit lost in the story here. Yeah, let's go to the open stance. So the importance of the open stance. All right. So why online biz? Flexibility and utilizing my skills, and my university career was done. Okay. The importance of the open stance. This is the idea of I didn't know what I needed to do or what I could do, but I knew that there was some way that I could figure it out. I had belief in myself to be able to make it so long as I didn't quit, and as long as I followed the right people, I guess would be the point. So now we'll pick this story back up. I've decided to write this book because Mark's a writer. I'm an academic. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just know how to write. So we're going to write a book that's going to inspire people to take up athletics as this sort of vehicle of personal transcendence to become excellent in body, mind, and spirit and aim towards, your best potential. And then I'm going to spin off the book, like courses, maybe some coaching cohorts, but I just didn't have much of an idea. The first person that I hired was an email marketing coach who's going to help me sell this ebook series through email marketing. It sounds wild at this point, but I'm very grateful for that first coach, not because I made any money doing the email marketing. It didn't work, but it just taught me to think like an entrepreneur. It got me into a vocabulary of entrepreneurship, and it also highlighted what I think is the most important thing about my entrepreneurship journey and everybody else's, is to let it be your own journey. Just because other people are doing it one way don't mean it's going to work for you, and you might be able to make it happen in a way that nobody else is actually doing it, right? So the email marketing coaching. It was fine, but it was far too specific in terms of writing a tagline, like writing an email hook, doing a sequence of like a 3 email sequence to then get the call to action, right? So that you can not pray, but you can manipulate the reader into an emotional state that they're going to be more likely to buy your product or service, so that you can help them, which is, it's all fine and well, but it was immediately right into a lexicon that I didn't like. Like, one of the reasons I became a prof is so I never had to deal with spreadsheets, or acronyms, or KPIs, or any of that stuff. Like, when you're a history prof, customers show up in your seat automatically. Like, you got to take this class. It's a mandatory class. Get in there, and you just show up and you teach. So you don't have to worry. You don't work on like consumer acquisition skills or sales tactics. Like, it's all baked into the cake for you. This is why being the prof is like not a real job. But I didn't like that. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't like any bit of it. It wasn't because, I think a little bit is that I wasn't initially good. But when I'm not initially good at something, but I'm interested in it, I can work at it. If I'm not initially good at something and I'm not interested in it, sorry, where's the motivation? And if you say, well, you got to make money, well, I didn't need to make money. I was still working my university job. So this was still a little bit like of an experiment on the side. And I had some savings that I'd accrued. So, this is the investment in myself, right? So what was really valuable about that first coach is that he taught me, hey, I'm not going to be able to do business like most other people do business. Like, I'm not interested in tracking metrics. I'm interested in just helping people and in speaking kind of my voice. Like, I'm a prof. I'm not going to become a businessman. And I don't even want to be a business man. I just want to profess. I want to share wisdom. I want to help people. And I want to do it in a way that just allows me to get paid a little bit. Like, that's it. That's all I want. And that led me to Zach Hommel, who I had spoken to a few times on a phone call, but then I hired him to directly help me as a business coach, to help me craft my vision. And this is where the importance of the open stance comes in, because it's like, I didn't know what I was going to do, but all of a sudden, right, I had this ebook, and I didn't spend a lot of money on the ebook itself. Some money on production, some money on editing. Hey, the editor who edited that's now one of the managing editors at the largest national newspaper in Canada. Shout out, Terry. You're a rock star. But I had this book. I sold a few copies. I sold enough to make the money back that I spent on the project, which was only a couple $100 anyways. But what happened was I got an email from a high school football coach in the United States who had bought the book, really liked it. He was one of my followers. And then he sent me a message asking if I had any physical copies because he wanted to hand them out to his entire varsity football team, his senior team. And I got this idea. It's like, oh, you want the physical copies? Why don't we do some sort of a summer culture building program where I will guide you and your students directly, your players, through the book, through some culture and team building workshops. And he said, great. And I said, here's the price. And he said, great, I will send you the money. It was a couple $100. And I created the Hold Your Shield program for the Ashland High School. It was a 6-man team. It got a small little high school there in Ashland, Kansas. Sorry, Ben, if I got the state wrong. We haven't talked in a while, bud. But I miss you. You were a good dude. And this is like the open idea. I was like, oh my gosh, like I just wrote a book because it's the only thing I need to do. But now it's opening up a new opportunity where now I can actually be like an authority figure in front of athletes, and I can be pumping my ideas about athletics as character development directly into them at a very important stage of their life, like in their high school years. So we ran this program. It was wildly successful. The coaches loved it. They brought me back the next year, and I was also able at this time to secure another one of these culture building workshops from my another one of my friends who was a college baseball coach up in Canada. So now I had 2 programs. I had a varsity and a college program who were paying me money to come and speak in front of their team about the history and the philosophy of sport. And this was the idea that I thought was going to be, this is my business. Like, so Zach helped me create a brand, logo, building a website, messaging, but not using like the traditional indicators, but just talking feel and building the foundation correctly, not rushing it, not worrying so much, focusing on service, focusing on coaching, focusing on helping, focusing on myself as the product, not worrying about the flashiest marketing or the most bulletproof systems, but really trying to build this thing up over the long haul, to be open and flexible for new opportunities. So I tried this. I don't even know what I would call myself at this point. Was it like a motivational speaker, team culture builder guy? Like, one of the reasons I failed as a musician too is because I was not a good elevator sales pitch person. I just am not a good salesperson when it comes to those metrics. Get me on a call, I'll connect with your heart, and then you'll want to work with me. But like, sales not generally my thing. Not generally my thing. So now, like, the business is directly targeting cold email outreach to prep schools and universities. I sent to like the Army and the Navy programs in the United States because I got a connection, again, through social media. But what I'm simply doing here is like, I have a voice, I have an idea of what I can do that sets me apart from other people, and wherever an opportunity opens up, I'm gonna go for that opportunity. And it was sort of during this period where Zach was coaching me, I was creating these like team culture programs, but I was also getting hammered in Canada. This is 2021. The pandemic is like full force. We've been locked down for over a year. I'm losing my freaking brain because the lockdown is inhumane and unscientific, and everybody just thinks it's smart and important. And I'm just thinking, I need to leave this place because everyone's nuts. Then the pandemic went even crazier, and we got vaccine mandates, and I was kicked out of society, and my family didn't want to see me, and lost my friends, and it was great. They threatened to fire me, even though I was teaching over a Zoom screen. Oh, it was wonderful. Way to go, Canada. You really had a moment there. You really had a moment that you're known by, not in a good way, not in a good way at all. Absolute joke. And I'm struggling. I'm hurting badly. And so Zach runs these men's groups. So he's coaching me in biz, and then I'm like, dude, I need a community. I need something because I'm dying up here, like literally. So I get into his men's group in 2021 in the fall, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like heaven. Like, I have Americans who I can rant to, and they're not going to turn me in. Like, we're all in East Germany. Like, it's amazing. And I start to recognize pretty soon in this group that I'm already being looked at as like a leader of the men within the group for my whatever principled stands that I'm taking, for my ability to run fast and far in the forest, because Zach is sort of taking a lot of these strength guys, and he's just starting them into like a very early hybrid style of training. So it's like they're all running like their first 5K ever, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to smoke 5K on the trails because I'm so inspired by everybody doing this. And I see the potential for me to do exactly what Zach's doing. It's like, oh, I can be a leader of men. I can do coaching. Like, I can help an individual one-on-one now. I don't have to just talk to athletes and students. I can talk directly to a 44-year-old husband of 3 who's a little out of shape. And I can kick him back into fitness, but not just as a fitness coach, but as like this entire holistic health and life development professor. And we start to transition over 2022 what I'm doing in business to now aim towards these coaching clients. And like, I'm also working a separate job. So I'm kind of working like 3 jobs at once. I got my side hustle. I got a part-time online gig. And I've also got my university work. And September of 2022, I'm like, this is my last year. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. Was it 2022? I went back. My timeline's all messed up, guys. It's all weird. I did get to go back and teach. They didn't fire me. I guess it was 2022 that this happened, where they made me go into a mask. That's right. It was 2022, and I resolved myself to never, ever, ever go back. So like September 2022 was the first time I was not working at a university. And I was working for this online education company part-time, and I was doing my coaching part-time. And I really kind of like bet that I was going to get hired by this company. That didn't happen. I got canned. It's a totally different story for another day. And it wasn't because I wasn't doing good work. It's because ego gets in the way, and adults act like children, basically. No matter if you're in the university or if you're in private equity or you're in a tech startup, then it doesn't seem to matter. Ego is the thing that poisons it, and people are just petty and childish. So it was like December 2022, and I'm like, haven't really been developing my coaching. Just got kind of canned. Oh, I'm in big trouble, and I can't go back to university. But because I'd been open and because I've been building and I've been consistent and I've been working on my messaging, I was able to land my first 2 coaching clients at 4-figure pricing, which, like, this was tremendous. And I'm still working with the first guy, whoever took a chance on me when he signed up in, I think it was like it was December 2022, and we started in January 23. The razor was so close. But it's this idea of being open that was so important for me. And just like taking the first step led to the next step, which led to the next, which led to the next. And, over the past 2 years or so, I've really just gone all in on the coaching with the fitness and the life development. I've also done consulting for fitness coaches and for online brand creators. That's what brought me to Tribal. And that's what landed me a role as an assistant coach on another online entrepreneurship dream. And I'm just going to pause right now, and we're just going to do a Tribal shout out. Tribal is the place where you can become an entrepreneur and a killer endurance athlete as well. I am currently repping 2 side hustle projects that my teammates have created while they've been in Tribal. So I got the Life Momentum hat from Logan Turner. Life Momentum is very similar to me in the fact that, it was started as one thing and now it's evolved into something different. But Logan is running Life Momentum as kind of like his own coaching program to help people carve out more freedom and meaning within their corporate 9-to-5 structures, which is something he's done with great success. Shout out, Logan, you're a killer. And then I got, of course, the legend, Explore the World of Flavors with Enoch Flavors, Phil Lee. Let's go. I got the logo on my back, but I got your card right here. Bam. Best spice mixes anywhere that you can buy. And I say this as somebody who likes to make my own spice blends and who has we'll say a solid palate and who knows how to cook. Phil's spice blends are so good. They're so good. You need to get them. But Phil Lee has created this company effectively in like less than a year now. Phil, you're such a legend. And I'm wearing your run shirt. We're gonna go soak this baby with sweat later on, dude. So shout out to my other guys on the team, and that's not even the only people in Tribal that have been doing this. Like Tribal itself is an online brand. So it's a very interesting thing that, being open to possibility that you could do something and that it could be successful if you just keep going. Well, hey, it's out there for you guys. So this importance of open stance, you got to be open. Okay, what would I do differently? I mean, I'm not somebody who likes to talk about regrets. One of the things that I certainly would do is trust my intuition more. That would be the biggest thing that I would do. When I told people that I was going into online business or entrepreneurship, I followed a couple of protocols that I think standard in general, they're good, but I didn't need to do them. Like, I didn't need to get a lawyer. I didn't need to incorporate myself. I didn't need to get a brand name. I didn't need a website. I didn't need all the standard things, that people get before they open up business. I needed to get into more networks. I needed to talk to more people. I needed more testimonials. Like, I would have trusted my gut that I didn't need to pursue a traditional business path when everybody who was advising me early on was like, you need to go the traditional business path, which is fine. But that would be one thing. What do I do differently? I trust my gut more. Every single time that I've trusted my gut and sort of gone the opposite way of what is standard business procedure, money hits my account and I tend to grow. Whenever I decide, it'd be really good to start paying attention to KPIs and open rates and like conversion metrics and blah, blah, blah. The moment I start fixating on that stuff, the standard business stuff, I lose money. I don't gain clients and I hate the job. So for me, the reason why I want to be an entrepreneur is like a lifestyle by design thing. And if the lifestyle is not something I'm interested in living, then the entrepreneurship is not doing its function because it's not meant to just make money for me. That's why I went down this road. So the moments like that I find myself doing something because somebody else thinks it's a good business practice that I should be doing, it doesn't go well for me. This is just me personally, okay? And you could say, yeah, but you just don't stick with it, or that's just the breaks. Fine. You go run your business how you want. I will swim with mine however I desire, okay? So what would I do differently? I trust my gut. What would I do differently? I'd hire the right coach first. I'd recognize that my disposition requires a particular kind of person to help guide me through business, right? Get a coach. I didn't get the right one initially, but again, I'm not salty about it. There's no regret. It led me to the right decision eventually. But I think I would take a little bit more time hiring a coach the first time. Don't get suckered by image. There's a lot of people out there that present a great image, but they don't have the substance. And that's another thing I probably would do differently. So not get so enamored in what I saw as like the romance of the online entrepreneurship job, and resolve myself a little bit more to the reality of what it takes. Okay, final bit here. My advice to anyone looking to get into the game. Number 1, train. Successful entrepreneurs are beasts in the gym. Why? Because they need delusional self-belief in order to keep going when everything around them and everything inside of them is saying, oh my gosh, this is not going well. You need to quit. Right? Remember back to that story. Remember back to that sage wisdom from Zach at the very beginning of the pod. The ones who make it are the ones who don't quit. The ones who don't quit are the ones who can handle the emotional ups and downs, who can maintain steady and level when things are going right and when things are going wrong. Something like athletic training. I mean, this is the perfect way to not only like gain confidence and belief in yourself that's rooted in the truth, but it's a way for you to humble yourself. It's a way for you to stay on task. It's a way to be disciplined. It's a way to prove you're committed, that you will work through adversity, that you can work through adversity. Sometimes the bar goes up easy. Sometimes it it seems like it's super glued to the floor, right? Same thing with running. Sometimes it's like the legs just turn over so easily, and the other times it's like they're stuck in mud, even if you're on asphalt. So one, if you want to get into the entrepreneurship game and you are not physically training, you're in big trouble. You also need incredible energy and stamina to work, right? There's going to be some long nights. You're going to need a lot of energy, and working out gives you energy. And you're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to be daring. You're going to have to be bold. You're going to have to be experimental, right? You're going to have to do all of this incredibly taxing mental work. So you need a sound body. You need a fit body. You need a healthy body, so that you can have a healthy mind and high energy levels and a no-quit attitude, and then you don't quit. So endurance training in particular, I think, is perfect for this, because it's like go out for a 2-hour trail run. You'll find patience. You'll find ups and downs. You'll get to the end because you kept moving forward one step at a time. So you are involved in a process that is embodied and congruent to the to the entrepreneurship journey. All entrepreneurs need to be in the gym. All entrepreneurs need to be running. All entrepreneurs need to have a physical fitness habit, and they need to push hard in that habit because it's what helps prepare their minds and their spirits to go through the trials and tribulations and challenges of the entrepreneurial journey, which is just up, down, way down, super up in the middle, way down, up, sporadic, out of my control. So number 1, physically train. Number 2, expand your horizon. There are a few people that can make it happen really quick, but most of the people that you see in the online world have been at it for years and years and years. It's like any kind of creative endeavor. There is no such thing as an overnight success. It's like, oh, that artist, they came out of nowhere in like the music industry. Oh yeah, right? I haven't seen them before, but you just scratch a little bit and you're like, oh, but they've been singing for 15 years. They started in their choir when they were 5. They were singing out on the street corners when they were 9. They've been hawking CDs or whatever, like MP3s or whatever. Gosh, I'm old. For 5 years, and then they've been performed. Like, you just go back and it's like, no, they've been working tirelessly, and then they just got a break. They got their break, and now they're known. And now it's like, where did they come from? So just keep going. What you think is going to take 6 months is going to take 2 years. Okay? Like, expand your horizon. Don't expect this immediate success. Chip away. And in that sense, work for free. Work for dirt cheap. Work for whatever you can get so that you can get testimonials, experience, and good vibes and momentum. And the fact that, hey, I can do this. Oh, people are coming to me. Hey, I'm providing them with value. Oh, and now they want to talk about the value, right? So don't be afraid to give away. Like, giving away is great. Giving away is so good. As long as what you're giving away is valuable and is helping people, it's going to come right on back to you. So give away, especially at the beginning. Give away. So we got physically train, we got expand your horizons, and we got give away. The final one, I think it's something like poetry. Express yourself. Your soul is going to hurt. You're going to question yourself. You're going to need to go to a place where you can enjoy the activity, but that you can express kind of like the emotional chaos that you feel. I know a lot of entrepreneurs journal. Some write poems. Others might play music. Others meditate. Like, you need some kind of this emptying space for the mind. Is another reason why physical training is great. Physical training can be a type of meditation. You want to know why I go run in the forest a lot? Got a lot of things on my mind, and I want to be able to come to some sort of a harmony with them by the end of the run. So you need to be able to let it go. Like, you need to be able to get rid of the swirl and the confusion. That's a productive use of your energy. That's also creating. That's also like linked to your spirit and excellence and creativity. That would be like the fourth thing is like, you got to do that. Like, I don't have any business advice because I'm not really a business guy. It's more about mindset and your ability not to quit when things get hard. Just don't quit. You don't have to be good. You just can't quit. You can be bad for a long time, okay? You can be bad for a year. But if you keep showing up, eventually you'll get better. And then you won't be so bad. And then eventually you'll be okay. And then you'll be good. And then by the time you're good, you'll have like 3 or 4 years of doing the thing. So you'll have consistency and you'll have a record. And people can see that you haven't quit. So now you're dependable. There's a very valuable heuristic that things that exist because they exist. Right? Like, that's what culture is. Culture are the things that get passed down from generation to generation because they work. So if you work and you keep working and you course correct and you're not an egomaniac and you're humble, right? And you discipline yourself And you say, oh, this is a good avenue. That one didn't work out. That seemed like a good idea. Oops, try something different. So you got to be experimental. You got to be creative. You have to always be interested in trying something new. And you cannot be attached to any of the things that you just created because most of them are not going to work. Most of them are not going to work. So we have to resolve ourselves. We have to resolve ourselves that, the person that keeps going is going to get the bag. It's not necessarily the most talented or the most skillful. It's the one who just outlasts. And that's not always the case, but I'm telling you guys, if you just keep moving forward every day, a little bit, push the ball forward, who knows what you can create in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. It's exactly the same as fitness. Small bricks stack into giant buildings. As long as I keep putting the bricks on and securing them, I will get the giant building. It may take a little bit longer, but hey, I'm expanding my horizon anyways. So the biggest advice I have for everybody is don't quit. And that's why you need to train if you want to be an entrepreneur, because the training teaches me how not to quit when it gets hard. Specifically. And how to hold myself to a different type of a standard. Someone else might say, Bud, you're not making a lot of money on this business. And I'll say, yeah, but when my kids' school closes on Thursday, I don't have to pay anybody to go take care of them because I got to work. I can take them to the beach. I can take them up to Wisconsin. I can take them to go strawberry picking and go take them back to the rural countryside. I could go downtown. I could take them up the John Hancock building up here in Chicago. I could do whatever I want because I got a day with my kids in their prime age, and I ain't got to ask permission from anybody to go do whatever I want with them, save for their mother. But, we're on the same page. And so my online biz lets me do that. And is there a better success? People work so that they can retire, so that they can do the things that I get to do day to day. I don't have the fat paycheck, but money is not everything. And I would pay money. I'd pay so much money a lot of the days to do what I do for work because I help people. People trust me. I can see their lives improving through the work that we do together. And I get the flexible life by design so I can be here for my kids and support my wife. That's why online biz. That's all it's ever needed to be for me. And I have designs of growing and, moving forward in my career. But right now, it's just not the most important thing. The most important thing is that I created something that can sustain the lifestyle that I want, doing what I'm good at, and really making a difference in people's lives. And to that I say, thank you, God. I will keep going, and I will keep working hard. And that's all you need to do. What's in your heart? What can you give to people? How can you serve them? Go out, be open, be creative, help, see where you're needed, see how you can bring value to the world. And the money, whatever you want from it, the money, the lifestyle design, will flow. Will flow directly back into your heart. Maybe not the money, but we'll call it success. We'll call it validation. Something like that. Okay? Biz episode done. That was a nice little back-to-back. We had Tori on episode 42. Now I've done the biz thing here. And see you guys in the next one. Who knows what that'll be on. Maybe it'll be another question. One thing we know, it'll be at least a little bit about sports. Peace and love, guys.